Welcome to the channel, Gaming Army. The start of this video finds us in our Roughneck. It is the Roughneck Bolt, which is the hero mech, and we're taking this bad boy for a quick spin. We have it set up with quad AC2s for our build, and we're playing an assault match on Hellbore Outpost. Now, while this drop plays out, I do need to take a moment to address a situation that keeps coming up. And that situation is this. Many times in game, I get offers and requests to join up for group drops. And I get it. I understand the sentiment. And I really do appreciate that sentiment from all of you, my loyal Gaming Army subscribers. Unfortunately, I am not able to join up for group drops. Now, I could tell you it's because I'm not a full-time YouTuber, so I have limited amounts of times that I'm on taking games and trying to squeeze them in the time available to me due to IRL commitments like job, family, etc. I could tell you that recording in group drops makes things much more complex on the editing side. I could also say that group drops tend to have more downtime between the matches, and that decreases the number of drops I'm able to get in. I could also tell you that most of the time I'm under some kind of time crunch for content or an upcoming editing schedule to get out the next video. I could say any of those things, and every single one of them is logical. It's plausible. But the truth is, it's all the fault of one person. And that person is AMX. Now, you're asking yourself, who is AMX? Well, he's one of my subscribers. And I thought a great guy. I mean, just look at the friendly banter from the beginning of this match. A little back and forth, good times, haha, sense of humor. I appreciate all this stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a guy that I could see myself dropping with. I could see myself being paired up with him and playing future matches together. Now, to emphasize to you just how big-hearted I am, that mech looks suspiciously like a jade kite. Notice how I pulled my shots on purpose, missing him, not wanting to kill him, ending and possibly ruining his match. I'm just that big-hearted. I am a big-hearted softie when it comes to my subscribers, or at least I was at this point. So I just move on with my drop.
New target acquired.
So looking for other targets, I notice this king crab, and that's definitely not a jade kite, so let's see if we can get some shots in. And while I'm moving up to the ridge line, I notice some laser fire coming from down below Charlie 4. So I want to see what exactly was down there, and it's hard to make out, but I do find an enemy mech down in the low ground, and that looks like a blood asp. So we're going to put some rounds on him again. That is not a jade kite, so I am free to light him up, which I'm doing quite well, and taking some fire in return. Now I back off here a little bit. My right torso is getting a little bit weak, so I want to come at this from a different angle. So switching things up, I rotate back around and find a catapult, and it's while I'm engaging this catapult that AMX is killed. Not by me. He is actually killed by a teammate, Sage Crow. And that means for the remainder of this drop at least, I'm free to engage because AMX, through no fault of mine, is out of the game off this drop. So coming around the corner, I find this king crab. Now, he's really focusing my teammate heavily, and that allows us to capitalize on his open CT and get the kill on him. And spinning back around, we can finish some work on this catapult and see if we can drive him to cover. Now, my right torso is open, but on a roughneck that isn't necessarily the end of the world. What you have to realize on roughnecks is these mechs have lots and lots of structure. So don't be fooled on the battlefield if you see a roughneck with open components. He might not be as easy to take down as you think he is. Now, my team is up 9-3, so at this point of the game it's just hunting down the last of the enemy units, and they have found one in the low ground towards Charlie 5, and he is about to have a very bad day as he is getting swarmed by my teammates. Meanwhile, I'm running around on the rock trying to get up into a high overwatch position, see if I can get eyes on the last two enemy units. Unfortunately, I'm just not seeing anything on the battle map. Didn't know if maybe they were hanging back trying to protect their base, but my teammates find them more towards Delta 5, and it's the Bloodass from earlier. The nice thing about this build and the AC2s is I can still engage and do quite a bit of chip damage from this distance. The fast recycle time on these AC2s are definitely what make that all possible, especially at this range. Now, my teammates have managed to get eyes on the last unit, and he is clear over towards Delta 6, and I need to get forward and into a high position if I'm going to have any hope whatsoever in contributing to taking out the last of the enemy mechs. I don't see this happening. I'm still a little bit too slow, even though I'm at 64.8 kph. I'm trying to bank on clear line of sight to allow my AC2s to do some work, but this just isn't going to play out. I have more units that are faster and more capable of taking out that enemy unit. I'm going to swing a little bit to the right and go long, hopefully being able to position myself to cut him off should the Shadowcat decide to run towards Fox 6-ish. And as I come around, they are able to swarm over the Shadowcat. I don't get a clear shot on him, and they're able to take him out. All in all, a good outing for the first run in this mech. We wind up with 2 kills, 468 damage done. There's even some friendly banter from AMX at the end of this match, and if you notice, I even send him an in-game friend request.
2 hours later.
Fast forward to another drop, and we find AMX on the opposing force. Again, some greetings, some friendly banter back and forth at the start of this match, and I thought nothing of it. How cool. Some interaction with a loyal subscriber. At least that's what I was thinking at the time. But how wrong I was about to be proven. For this drop, we are playing Domination on Vitric Station, and I am in a Roughneck. It is the Roughneck 1A this time, and I have it outfitted with 3 Rack 2s. I want to see if this mech is as good on the battlefield as I think it is in theory. So we have taken to the high ground. I've engaged a couple of the units, Charlie 4 at range, and at this moment, my brain switches gears, and I remember AMX is on the opposing force. So again, being the kind, benevolent YouTuber I am,
Artillery strike activated.
I say to myself, I have to be very, very careful
New target acquired.
with my target selections in this situation and on this drop. So I'm carefully sorting through all the different mechs on the battlefield before I engage. Again, I don't want to
Artillery
ruin
strike
his drop for
online.
him. I don't want to be the one that kills a subscriber. That would make me feel horrible. So I am doing my due diligence in carefully screening the enemy units before engaging. Thus far, I have not identified a single mech or target that is AMX before engaging. The only one that I can't get a read on is a couple of shots on the Thanatos. I did need to drive him back into cover, and I'm just hoping now that wasn't AMX, because I would feel absolutely horrible. I probably would lose sleep over the fact that I just shot him. So again, I go back to screening my targets very carefully before engaging, making sure that AMX is not with them. He's not in the Marauder, so that means Bravo is fair game, and we managed to light him up with quite a few rounds. And it was a textbook situation of spinning up the racks and pre-firing him as he crossed that open space. Now, I've dropped down into the trench, and I'm coming up the other side again, scanning for enemy targets. I know that they're on the Charlie line quite heavily, but I also need to be careful on which targets I can and cannot engage. I know that the Marauder is fair game,
New target acquired.
and I also know that the Cataphract is fair game, as well as the quick draw. So I'm quickly sorting through the enemy team and eliminating possibilities of who I can and cannot engage at this point.
Careful, Rob, for high. There he is.
All in the hopes of not shooting one of my subscribers to death. Now, at this point, my brain is telling me I am free to engage a Marauder, but when I lock him up, I notice his loadout is different than the other Marauder, but luckily it is still not AMX. So now I have it in my brain that both Marauders are free game, and at this moment I see the quick draw, and I know that he is free game as well, and we're going to wait for him to come out of cover. We're going to spin up our racks, and now it's just a question of successfully leading his mech, which we are able to do, and take out his center torso, getting the kill on the quick draw. And now I'm going to reposition, shift a little bit to the right side. I see some of my teammates are pushing, and there are some enemy units over here as well. Now, Target Kilo was the original Marauder that we had in our sights, so we are going to pursue him. He's being pressured by a couple of teammates down here, but we want to add some suppression fire to him if we can get into position. There is an enemy looking at us from our left side, so I have to be careful crossing, and there is another target of opportunity right there. This one, a Marauder 2. And he is also fair game and also has an open CT. My teammate comes from back around the corner. I'm not sure if he finished off both enemy units that were in this low ground. I swing around just to triple check. I don't like getting shot in the back. In fact, I abhor getting shot in the back. I don't mind doing it to somebody else, but I just don't like it myself. I'm now going to push back towards center, and I'm thinking about the high ground to be able to get lines of sight to put my racks to work. And I notice my teammates are struggling with a unit out towards Charlie 5. It's a Mist Lynx, and the Mist Lynx is AMX. So instead of shooting him from this high position, I shoot the enemy Thanatos instead, even though I could easily crest this ramp and add additional suppression fire onto the Mist Lynx, who's open in the leg, by the way, which would really ruin his day in a light mech to lose your leg. I instead push up and over and fully engage my pursuit of the Thanatos. So quickly spinning my racks up and punching through his armor gets us the kill. We're taking shots from many different directions, and there is a group of 3 pushing in, and there's an assault mech, which is not a missed lynx. Pushing forward, I'm going to use the pillar for cover and put some more shots on those enemies, but before I can do so, I am taken out. Wait a second. Wait a second! I am taken out by AMX. Shot in the back by some no-good, backstabbing varmint. This is why we can't have nice things in MechWarrior Online.